It all began with a simple purchase. An Echo Dot. I plugged it in as I got ready for my day. Curious about what it could do, I requested, "Alexa, play songs from the year 1984.
Playing music from 1984.
I was hooked. Could this be the greatest year of music ever?
Welcome to the greatest year of music ever. This is Bryan Cook, and to my side is
this is Mr. Shane Rollo.
Shane Rollo. Yeah, sorry about that. I had like two files playing. Yeah, this is a new studio for me, and kind of a new setup. But and a new year. Well, what year we got, Shane?
Oh, we've got 2004.
We do not.
Is that not what we agreed on? 2004.
1994.
Oh, we got to do 1994. Oh man.
Actually, I was going to say the greatest.
I've been trying to get out of it every time.
All right, well.
No, 1994 was actually a great year in music. It really was.
Yeah. One of the things that I was wanting to actually cover, there was an album that had it looked like a Chinese baby, like flying through the air, and that would be the Stone Temple Pilots album, Purple.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, now that wasn't their
very
first,
good album.
Yeah, it was excellent. It wasn't their first album either, because the other one was, it was revolutionary. I thought it was, and then the second one came out and it was a little more clean. There was a movie.
Really?
Yeah, there was a movie that came out with Brandon Lee, who was Bruce Lee's son.
The Crow. The
Crow, and all that
yes.
movie. Yeah, and all that movie was Stone Temple Pilots. I mean, it had a bunch
really?
of good movies. Yeah, the Big Empty.
Oh wow!
So, but anyway, I
love that movie. Love that movie.
Yeah, he died in that movie.
He did. He surely did.
Yeah. Hey, where's we're missing somebody. That's right.
Oh well, we're missing Mr. Jason Spiegel.
Yeah, I think he's asleep.
Good night, Jason. Sweet dreams.
Yeah, he's
a hard-working man.
He couldn't stay up with the grown-ups. He had to go to bed, but that's okay. We'll catch him next time. He is. He's working at least. So
yeah, he is. He's a heck of a musician, man. Really
yeah.
Is.
Hey, before we get to Stone Temple Pilots, you got anything going on?
Have I got anything going on? Oh wow, where do you want to start?
Mm-hmm. Well, as far as you want to go is what I want to. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I am DJing now on Tampa Bay FM.
Mm-hmm.
I got a new album in the works. I go back in the studio March 7th to start on that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working with this show now and just trying to keep myself busy as possible. Just idle time is the devil's time.
Yeah. I heard the song. It Is What It Is.
Yes.
Yeah. I really think your music, not to make you get too egotistical, but I think your songwriting ability is getting much better.
I think we evolve, as we get older in it. And just a quick little heads up on everything. Miss Lucky Bailey has agreed to appear in the video for It Is What It Is.
Okay, for those who don't know who Lucky Bailey is, please explain.
Lucky Bailey is the singer for the Dirty Puppets from California. Very great girl. I've had the opportunity to get to know very well in the last week or so. Very beautiful girl, and she is really going to set this video off.
Yes.
Amazingly.
Yeah. I would say, yeah, that'd be a good friend to have.
She is a great friend to have.
Yeah. So, yeah, I expect great things. It's a great song. I went through and I think you had played it. It was someplace in Jasper. I went and looked at the video, and you had a lady that was, doing the second part. And I think I heard the original with just you singing it, and then with the
on the original demo, it was just me. But actually, when we go in studio on this, I'm going to change the production of it up, and it's going to be more piano based. And I'm going to have Mr. Gary Craig, who used to play with the Wayne Mills band out of Huntsville. For those who know Wayne Mills, he's going to play the piano on this, and he is an extraordinary piano player.
That's actually going to work. Because I mean, when I first heard it, I mean, it's a good song, but when I heard the second singing part, I mean, she was singing I don't know what part you'd call it, but I mean, she was singing like the backing vocals to it, and it just kind of came alive. So it's got the, I mean, I knew you before.
I've got this idea in my head.
Yeah.
That, I've already got this picture painted in my head, and it's hard to express it with just one instrument and one voice. It's something I've got to sit down with and get my brush and paint and just go to work at,
Mm-hmm. And also you got to come up with about 12 more songs, right?
Well, we've already got those, believe it or not. There's actually more than that I'm having to whittle them down, believe it or not.
That's
a good thing. A pretty good feeling to have a choice for once, instead of, just last minute just rattling around trying to write an extra 2 songs just to fill a spot. I've actually got excess this time to kind of weed over and cull through.
Yeah. Do you remember back in the 80s when they'd tell the bands, they'd come up with a hit and they say, now you got to come up with an album, and they'd write a garbage. I mean, when I was
jeez.
Yeah. Now, remember the band Living Colour? And they had that song.
I do.
And Cult of Personality came out, but the rest of that album sucked.
What year was that? Was that not around 1994, or was that a little earlier?
Let's see. I'm thinking. Living Colour. That's the good thing about having a computer.
I know. Life is at our fingertips.
Yeah. That's 1988.
Was it really?
Mm-hmm. Yep. 1988.
They're a guitarist, Vernon Reed.
Yep.
The guy could smoke. I mean, as far as just running diatonic scales, oh my God.
Yeah, the one thing I remember about that Cult of Personality song was, I know we're not talking about 1988, but he played behind the beat.
Yeah, he certainly did.
And the reason I know that is because when I had gotten the guitar magazine that had the song in it, it said play behind the beat. And I went back there and listened, and sure enough, it was like he was in time, but he was not really in time. And
right.
It just kinda,
it wasn't long after that, too, that a television show came out that was named Living Colour, and they actually got sued by the band, and they had to change their name to In Living Colour.
I remember that. I remember Jim Carrey, the Wayans brothers.
Jim Carrey, Jamie Foxx, the Wayans brothers.
That thing was packed full.
Actually, J-Lo was one of the Fly Girls. One of the girls they had dancing as it went into break.
Man,
certainly was.
Where was I at?
I don't know. I don't know how you missed that.
Yeah, it might have been the year our family went away from TV. Or didn't have cable or what. I don't know, but it was on one of them big 3, wasn't it?
Honestly I can't remember what network it was on, but I remember I watched it. I mean, it was like the funniest show on television at the time in my mind.
Yeah, because I remember Fire Marshal Bill.
Fire Marshal Bill, definitely, yes.
Yeah.
And I think it was it Jamie Foxx who had the where he would dress in drag as Wanda or something like that. Oh my God,
it was great.
You're talking about a lot of years ago.
Yeah, I had to bring back some memories. Yeah.
Yes, it does.
All right, well, I'm gonna bring us back to 1994. Purple, the album Purple. It had the album Purple. Well, the one thing I remember about that album at the end of it was like a Frank Sinatra song.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, and you're like, what is he doing? Yeah, it was just kind of, and it had like really cheap keys playing behind it, and and like a drum machine, and it was 12 Easy, something 12. Oh, was that name of that song?
Wow.
But I thought, what did they do with that? And then they had the song. Okay, and then they had Alice in Chains came out with the album.
Alice in Chains definitely made an impact.
It was.
Geez.
It was.
What can you say? That was they had the whole Seattle sound going, and oh my God,
Jar of
Lane
Flies.
Staley was just off the hook, as far as writing.
And somebody in Alice in Chains was able to sing the backing vocals, and it was just kind of a diminished note on every song.
Yeah, they had just a weird style altogether, but it worked so well,
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of eerie. Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, and that's the reason I liked it. But it was Jar of Flies was the name of the album.
Jar of Flies.
Mm-hmm. Jar of Flies. I wore that album out. And I remember I had that Mercury Topaz.
I do remember that.
And
it was great, right?
Yeah, it had a system in it, and I remember I put a real cheap alarm system on it one time, and the alarm went off, and somebody's like, "Why does he put an alarm on that piece of crap?"
Because it's my piece of crap.
Exactly. But I had a system in it, and I wore that whole Jar of Flies and the Stone Temple Pilots Purple album out.
Yes. And correct me if I'm wrong.
Uh-huh.
Is that not the year in 1994 that the Crash Test Dummies came out?
Yeah. Yes, it was.
I believe it was.
Yes, it was.
Still to this day, I cannot force myself to listen to one of their songs all the way.
Shane Rollo, he should be an inspiration to you, as far as being a singer. He's the only bass singer in rock and roll that I've ever heard. A true bass. But in that, there was obviously going back to, I'll go back to Crash Test Dummies, but when you look at Jar of Flies, there was a song on there called Vaseline.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, and that is actually, I did not realize this, but the song Vaseline came from an Eagles song.
Really? Which Eagles song?
Life in the Fast Lane.
Really?
Okay. What it is, when one of the members, I don't know which one of the members it was, had heard Life in the Fast Lane, he thought he heard Flies in the Vaseline was the name, was the lyrics. And that's where...
You don't think that maybe drugs may have played a little part in that?
Yes. Matter of fact,
most likely.
He was on heroin then.
Oh, wow. So there's no telling what he heard.
Mm-hmm. Well, what it was, a lot of those songs are written about his girlfriend, that she was watching him on the heroin, and he would lie to her. And so he would...
jeez.
Yeah. I mean, and looking back, you're like, all them dark lyrics. And let me just pull that up. We got, Crash Test Dummies was, the song was, was the main one they had.
So original.
Yeah, and, I mean, it's like, what are we going to call it? Well, we call it,
How about we just call it,
Yeah, done. Send it to the press. But anyway, let me pull that up about the Jar of Flies, because I remember... I want to say every song that I looked up on there was about heroin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, another band, around that time too, that, you automatically, when you hear their name, you associate heroin with it, was Nirvana.
Oh, yeah.
And, the whole Kurt Cobain thing, which, I'm sure there were, the majority of the bands probably, at that time were really into heroin.
This may sound horrible, but I've heard heroin is the drug that you want when you can't get any relief. And the reason I bring that up, I've never done heroin, and I don't endorse anybody doing heroin, but
no,
but there was.
Either. I mean, it's definitely not.
It doesn't end up good. It's like meth. I don't ever see anybody who's like, I've been doing meth for 20 years, and man, look at me, I feel great. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I've been a musician for many years, and, of course, I've experimented here and there with many things.
With sexuality,
I have tried it,
what you said?
And I did not like it. It scared me to death.
I thought you said experiment with sexuality.
Well, I did a lot of experiment with that with the different women, but midgets were my favorite.
Oh, as women, okay, I got
you. Of course, midgets were my favorite.
Midget. Oh, well, Shane, everybody's a midget to you, man.
Well, true.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, I am 6'6" tall.
Yeah. It's always felt like a midget being around you.
That is very true.
I was looking through here. January 25th, 1994 is when that Jar of Flies was released. Yeah, and when you go through the song list, like I Stay Away, you remember that?
I Stay Away.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that one. I'm sure I would probably know it if I heard it, but I'm just right off the top of my head, I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah. You would know.
Now, which one was it that had Plush and all that on it?
That was the first Stone Temple Pilots album. And that was not in 2000.
Okay,
that was I don't know, prior to 1994.
Wow, see, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
That they had been around that long.
Yeah. But I was I'm looking here.
Now, their lead singer was Scott Weiland, am I correct?
Well, you talking about Stone Temple Pilots?
Yeah, is that his name, Scott Weiland?
Hold on a sec. Google.
I believe it is. Anyway, he later joined up with some of the members from Guns N' Roses to form Velvet Revolver, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Scott Weiland, lead vocals. And then the brothers,
yes.
Dean DeLeo and Robert DeLeo, was guitar and bass, and Eric Kretz was drums. Yeah. I didn't know that. I had no idea they were brothers either.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
But yeah, I believe it was Scott Weiland that went on to help form Velvet Revolver with Slash and, some of the other members of Guns N' Roses.
Yeah. Do you know that there's actually, well, hold on a sec. I should have had all this stuff pulled up, but, we are a professional studio setup, so we're like, we got all our stuff together. Okay. Slash, Duff McKagan, Matt Sorum, alongside Dave Kushner, and former punk band Wasted Youth, and Scott Weiland, formerly of Stone Temple Pilots. Well, look at you.
Yes.
Hey,
I am up on this thing.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
Do you know how many Velvet Revolver songs that I know?
How many do you know?
None.
None, really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. I mean, they I liked them, but they weren't something that was just I had to listen to. A good example would be, of course, everybody knows Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
His guitarist, Zakk Wylde. And it may have been around 1994 that he did a little side project where he was actually singing, and, he wrote his own songs and was singing and playing guitar on it, and the band's name was Pride and Glory.
Zakk Wylde.
Zakk Wylde, yes. There's a band called Pride and Glory. And the album didn't do very well, but actually had some pretty decent songs. He took more of a southern rock approach to it than he did, with what he would do with Ozzy. And I'm pretty sure it was around 1994.
Let's see. Pride and Glory is Zakk Wylde's first self-fronted album, and it was in 1994. Way to nail it.
Look at me. I am on a roll.
Uh-huh. Hey, do you know that he is like humongous now? Like, I'm not saying
with Black Label Society.
Well, no, I'm talking about physically.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
yes. He looks like
he's a beast. I'm like, what happened? He was a little scrawny thing with Ozzy. And,
yes. The first time I ever seen Zakk Wylde, back when, you remember when we were in middle school, high school and all, we bought every Hit Parader that came out, or every guitar magazine that came out.
Sure did.
And they had just gotten rid of Jakey Lee, and they were talking about who's Ozzy's new guitarist going to be. And all of a sudden they come out with this, this is his new guitarist, Zakk Wylde. And I remember seeing the picture, and he looked like a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, just scrawny kid, long hair, clean shaven kid, but real long hair.
Oh,
and I thought, man, how is he going to fit into that?
But man,
and you can look now and take that picture from then and look at now, and it's like, is this the same guy?
He's been working out.
He has.
Yeah, yeah. He's been taking some. I wouldn't say he's taking steroid, but man, he's huge.
Yeah, don't say that because I don't want Zach to come kick our
No,
ass.
I'll tell him you said it.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
But I mean, and with all, I mean, he's got the huge beard. I mean, he's got like a ZZ Top beard and long.
He is. Yeah, he's got the whole biker thing going.
Yeah.
I mean, they have almost a cult following, with Black Label Society.
Yeah. He's just an awesome guitarist. I mean,
He is.
I remember with No Rest for the Wicked, man, he tore that thing up.
He did. He really had No More Tears. He did really well.
Yeah.
Just basically everything he's played on, and it's like I said, the Pride and Glory album is actually a good album because he took an approach like a Southern rock kind of Allman Brothers influence, kind of thing, and he done really well with it. I mean, he really did, and he's not a bad singer either.
Something I love about these shows is after we get done with them, there's generally somebody I go back and I'm like, I go back and listen to the whole album. And I'm like, yeah, because I missed out.
Yeah. Definitely.
But understand, back in the day, you didn't have access to everything. If you wanted to go get, want to hear Zakk Wylde, the new guitarist for Ozzy, you had to go to Sound Shop and then go.
Sound Shop, that is right.
Yeah, and you had to go through and go to the rock section, and had to, take your fingers and go through it and find it. And then, and then if you didn't have a lot of money, you go over there to the clearance rack and try to find, Ozzy tape or something.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you what, some other things that happened too. Yeah. Not that I ever did this now, but a lot of people would do this. Back then we had something called tape decks. And I know the kids out there listening don't know what we're talking about. Yeah. And I've heard of people taking blank tapes and taking tape and putting it over the top of the little tabs on the top and putting a new tape in and dubbing it off onto another tape and pirating it.
Oh. We could still go to jail for that.
I'm glad I never did it.
Matter of fact, mine had the ability to do the high speed overdubbing, and I could pirate at twice the speed.
It's a good thing you never done that.
No, Matter of fact, never happened.
Never.
Oh, wait, I missed that whole thing.
I do too. I miss the sound of the cassette tape, and the kids listening, you guys wouldn't understand this. You always have your favorite song on an album, and after you finish listening to your favorite song, guess what you had to do? Press rewind, and wait till it gets there, and hope you get it right to it, because if you don't, then you got to fast forward or rewind it just a little or a little more just to get it right on cue to start.
Well, and actually, when you started hearing the song fade out, you just let it play because there's no way you can get any closer.
Right, that's very true.
Those were the days.
Those were the days.
Yeah. Can I tell you also, back in them days, around that time with the Mercury Topaz, and you had a Toyota Celica.
I did.
And they were doing road work on. Have I told you this story?
I'm not sure if you have or not. I'm kind of interested to hear.
Okay, well, it's about to go out. And this has nothing. This may have something to do with 1994 because it was around. It may be around. I don't know. But I remember you had that Toyota Celica, and that little car was fast.
It was fast.
I was like, you were like able to catch second gear. I was like, what? It's a little Toyota Celica, but it was, it was sporty. And I remember you used to drive it when there'd be like no gas in it, and you drive it to Jasper and back, and then eventually, I'm like, how did you drive on empty? And then you'd be like halfway back, and you'd run out of gas.
Yeah.
Okay. Now.
I definitely remember that.
Okay. Okay. Go look. You had driven to Parrish for some reason. They were doing work on the road. They were about to build the bridge. I think it was 22 was about to go over top of it, and they put a big old pile of dirt where they just ate it up. Where they went through and stripped the land, and they had ate right through it, and they made a pile of dirt about 4 foot tall, and it was at the bottom of the hill before you get to the train tracks. You don't remember this, do you?
I don't.
Yeah, because you lied about it. Let me tell you what you told me. This is my time to vent. You told me you took your Celica and hit that thing at 55 miles an hour and jumped, and you said you flew, and then you went down and then left the ground, whatever, and it was fun, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, my little Topaz was at the top of the hill, and I saw that little mound of dirt, And I got up to 55 miles an hour, and I realized right before I hit it, you were lying.
Now, in my defense, I did drink a lot back in those days, so it is very well possible that I did do it.
It's a wonder I didn't die, because I hit that thing, and it was like hitting. Well, first of all, I jumped. It jumped it, and then I was in the air, and then when I hit, it ejected the CD out of the CD player.
No way.
And I had a little bit of a wobble, and I had broke nearly all 4 struts on that thing.
Geez.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, honestly, I don't remember if I did it. Like I said, back in those days, I did drink quite a lot.
But I'm just saying, it makes a great story now.
It does. It does make a great story.
Oh, but the
the stories we could tell.
Oh yeah, and I want to say it was actually it was the Purple Album that ejected out of my car when I went over it.
Really? Mm-hmm. So see, that kind of correlates with everything we're talking about.
Exactly. So, and also I wanted to tell you about it before I died, you know. But
yeah, definitely. Before you die from the time that you nearly died.
Exactly.
But I'll tell you someone else that came out that I really liked in 1994 was Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh yeah. That wasn't Siamese Twins. That was
I'm not sure what the first album was. Candlebox was another band around in that time.
Can you name more than one song Candlebox did?
I can. Far Behind. I can name Cover Me. Actually, I'm running thin. Mm-hmm. No, wait a minute. Oh, hold on, I lost it. No, I actually do the song "Cover Me" in my acoustic set sometimes.
Oh, do you? Yeah.
I do.
Okay, okay. This is the thing. 1993, Siamese Dreams came out. And then, but that would have meant the songs would have been out in 1994.
Correct. Yeah. True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. And also you had a song out by Ozzy that year. I know you're not going to get it. I know you ain't going to get it. I know you ain't going to get it.
Okay. Well, it's definitely after the No More Tears album.
Nope.
Because No More Tears was 92.
Wait a second. Wait. Before
I'm pretty sure it was 91 or 92. So the song by Ozzy would have to be.
Hold on a second.
Was it See You on the Other Side or Changes?
No.
It was either Changes or See You on the Other Side.
Hold on. I might have spoken out of turn. Hold on a second. Because I see discography. And we're going to go down here to looking down here. Because it was. Okay, no, it's 95. I'm sorry, it's 95.
Okay, that would have been the year of the Osmosis album.
Osmosis, yeah. And that's the one that is where me and Ozzy parted ways.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't like the Osmosis album?
No, when I got No More Tears, I enjoyed No More Tears. No Rest for the Wicked, No Rest for the Wicked was my Ozzy album. And then
it was phenomenal. Yeah.
And it was just one that I could not get enough of. I even all the bonus. There was the song with no name at the end of it, and I was like, I listened to it from front to back, just all the way through.
Yeah.
And then No More Tears, I like most of it. And
oh, geez, I love that album.
Yeah. Now I like the song No More Tears, and I like the popular stuff on it. But
I like some of their also, The Shadows in the Night. I love that. It's kind of an awesome song. Time After Time.
That was good.
Several that I like. The Road to Nowhere.
Yeah.
Mr. Tinker Train. I mean, I love the album myself.
Yeah. And do you realize that he messed up? Well, I would say he messed up. On Mr. Tinker Train, it just stops.
Yeah, I have noticed that, and I've actually wondered the story behind that, but
get Ozzy on the phone. Knows? Yeah, just get Ozzy on the phone. He's probably still up.
We need to do that. And he probably. I don't know. He goes to bed pretty early these days.
Takes his jerks. All he goes to bed. No, he's probably like I don't know, chewing on iron before he goes to bed.
There is no telling, biting bats heads off or something.
Yeah. Does he live in New Orleans now?
The last I knew of, he lived in Miami. So I don't. Okay. Not Miami. Or where was it he lived? Honestly, I don't know right now where he lives.
Okay. I was say because somebody said he was in New Orleans. I said, man, I'd love to, because I was down there. Yeah, I was like, man, if I run down,
he would fit in New Orleans. I'm not speaking badly of New Orleans. Of course, I love New Orleans. Every time I go through there, man, I never want to leave.
Mm-hmm. They got good food.
They do. They have great entertainment. They have great everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking here because we are, the Purple album. There's one other thing I want to be able to talk about the Purple album. Okay, what you're talking about, the Plush and all that, that's on Core. You had Sex Type Thing,
Core,
Plush, Creep, and Wicked Garden. And then when you went to Purple, and I even listened to it the other day. I went there and listened to it. And it had that little, Frank Sinatra thing at the end of it. But what I was going to tell you about it is that they have a new vocalist.
Really?
Yeah. You ever heard of Chester Bennington?
Chester, I have.
Yeah.
I have.
From Lincoln Park.
Yes.
He joined the band.
I did not know that.
Joined the band in May 2013.
I certainly did not know that.
Yeah. And then November 2015, he left, focused on Lincoln Park. But yeah, he was. I remember that. And then it says Bennington committed suicide.
Yeah.
But
was it okay? Here's another question for you. Now, I'm pretty close with my dates, but maybe 94 is the year Motley Crue broke up, if I'm not mistaken, and they took on a new frontman, John Corabi, and Vince Neil started his own project and had Steve Stevens as his guitarist.
Oh, I remember.
I think his album was the Exposed album, and it was either 94 or 95 that Van Halen got rid of Sammy Hagar and brought in a third lead singer, which was the lead singer from Extreme, Gary Cerrone.
Yes. And you asked me.
Van Halen 3 was the name of the album.
Yeah, and if you ask me what songs are on that album, I have no clue.
I know one song off of it. It's called "A Year to the Day," and that's all I listened to of it. Because I was a huge Van Halen fan, and when it came out, of course, I rushed out and bought it, and I had never been so let down in my life.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't Van Halen to me.
Yeah. Which I was just trying to think. When you take a key ingredient away,
it's just not the same. Yeah. They got lucky, I think, when David Lee Roth left and Sammy Hagar came in. It took a little transition, from the first album, but people kind of bought into it there, and it worked. But very few bands can do that, especially a lead singer. I mean, that's a big spot to fill,
Well, they call him a lead man for, It does make he represents now. Granted, with Stone Temple Pilots and then Alice in Chains, what we just talked about, I want to say that was like the first time that we never focused on frontmen, because I couldn't tell you any of those guys. I just knew Alice in Chains. I knew Stone Temple Pilots.
Staley, yeah. I mean, I knew Lane Staley pretty well, and their bass player Mike Inez.
Yeah.
The only reason I was really familiar with him is because a while back they had this show that came on, I believe VH1. It was called Dr. Drew's Celebrity Rehab, and then Dr. Drew's Sober House, and Mike Inez was on there. Not Mike Inez. What was his name? Mike something.
From who?
Anyway, and from he was the original bassist for Alice in Chains.
I'm looking at
Mike Inez, I think, was the bassist for Ozzy at one point.
Okay.
What was his name? Anyway, he later died. Not long after that of a drug overdose.
The bassist?
But he did. This was back in maybe 2010,
okay.
2011, somewhere around in that point.
Oh, okay.
Steven Adler was also on that show at the same time.
From Guns N' Roses?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, see, they had Mike Starr.
Starr, that's who it was.
Okay. And then Mike Starr was replaced in 1993 by Mike Inez.
Yeah. Oh, well, I guess I was right.
Yeah. So,
in a sort of roundabout way.
Yeah, you are. I mean, you're on tonight. No doubt about it.
I am on. But if I'm not mistaken, Mike Inez did play bass on one Ozzy album, I do believe.
Actually, it's saying he was with Ozzy from 89 to 93.
See, I'm on again.
Well, man, you know what? We don't need Wikipedia. We just need you. Oh, he was also on the Black Label Society from 2001 to 2004.
See, I did not know that.
Uh-huh. Look at that. See, I got the power over here. I mean.
Yes, you do.
That's so cool, though. Yeah, they're all trading bases.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't keep up. It took me forever I mean, you go up and ask just your average individual, about the Eagles. They know who the Eagle is.
Yeah.
Eagles are, who's the bass player? And they're like,
Well,
the bass player is like very, very,
well, he was.
They're not very well known a lot of times.
Yeah, but he was one of the writers, though, wasn't he? He wrote a lot of music.
Yeah, but I mean, no one ever knows the bass player for Led Zeppelin. I mean, we know who it is. But
yeah,
I mean,
the average
person does.
Yeah, when I looked up Eagles, it brings up the American bald eagle. I'm like, no, that's not what I need.
Close enough.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't play
Actually,
bass.
the Eagles in 1994, I do believe the Eagles came out with an album, The Hill Freezes Over, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Okay. Now I'll tell you this: when we were going back, we did the '84. The Eagles had. It looked like they had not necessarily split, but they all did their own thing, and that's where you had Glenn Fry and the
Heat Is On and all that, and Don Henley with the Boys of Summer and
yep. And guess what?
That.
And guess what? 1994, Hell Freezes Over.
Hey, look at there! I'm on again, man.
Yep. And do you realize that when they did that album, that they obviously had stayed in practice because they did some amazing stuff on Hotel California.
They did.
Yeah, and it was just wow, they can play. The arthritis had not set in.
That is such a challenging band, man, all the way around.
Yeah.
And who, in my mind, is a member of the Eagles? He may as well be because, they lived in an apartment building, way back in the early 70s, and this guy lived right under them, and they spent all their time together writing and all. Was Jackson Bryan. I mean, he had a lot of influence in with the Eagles.
I didn't know that.
He did. He certainly did.
Yeah, but I wonder, he didn't do anything outside the 70s, though, did he?
Not that I know of.
Yeah. It's like, it was good enough just to know Jack, to know the Eagles. And it's kind of like, it's good enough for me just to know professional musicians, I don't have to play. I just, yeah.
But, Jackson Bryan did have some good songs, I thought,
Yeah.
The Roadie song, I loved it, Running on Empty. So, I thought it was a really talented, but he would kind of fit in the genre with the Eagles, it kind of worked out with him. And if you'll look on a lot of their songs, he is listed as a co-writer on some of them.
That is actually Running on Empty, I thought was an Eagles song.
No, that's Jackson Bryan.
Yeah. It's so neat. Yeah. I was looking over
here. I'm telling you, man, I am a endless sea of useless information.
Yes. And 94 was obviously your year.
Oh, that's great, man. I went to more concerts and seen more live shows in 94 than any other year.
Okay, now.
I mean, it was amazing the people I've seen that year.
Okay, and I know why. I know exactly why because you were working.
And why was that?
You were working.
I was working at the time. I was working and had money.
Yeah.
I did that W word.
Wait, and you weren't married.
I was not married at that time.
You were single.
I was single. Oh my God!
And you had money.
I certainly was.
That was also the year you
Do
bought
the math.
You bought
Do the math.
Yeah, and you bought the Uzi. You went and had your card. I mean, I was like, wow, where's he getting all this stuff from? And you were working, and I mean, I was single too.
Oh my God! Let's see, 1994. That would have made me 20 years old. Yes, when I was 20 years old, I had a brand new Tech 9, for those of you who know what that is, with 31 in the clip, that I would ride around Jasper with.
You were so ghetto.
I was ghetto, man.
Yeah.
I was ghetto.
Yeah. You know what?
Oh, wow.
I do. I remember you took me out the dog track. No, that was the year after that because you'd been 21. No, wait. No,
yeah, I think you had.
Wait. Well,
actually, I think you get in there at 19.
19, yeah. So we went because I remember driving your Celica back.
Yeah.
You know why?
I probably was inebriated.
That is correct. Yep.
Yes, I did that a lot back in those days.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, I just remember that. That's how I know you.
I think there was many times that you were the designated driver. You were responsible for me getting home many times around out here.
It was destined. I was going to be a preacher, and you were going to be a rock star.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something like that, man. It's like it was all laid out in the book.
It was. It was. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I remember it. Well, I mean, remember Jeff, and I hate he passed away.
What I do remember of it, my memory of it's kind of hazy, but
yeah, but remember your cousin Jeff? Before he passed away, he went with us. And,
he was with us on a lot of those adventures.
Yeah. And I remember he made more money at the dog track that night than all of us.
He did. He certainly did.
Yeah, and so that's one thing I remember. But yeah, I miss Jeff.
Yeah, I do too. I think about him every day.
Yeah. Yeah. We got.
Still to this day, I got many guitars and all that. I still have his guitar case that he had his guitar in back when he was 19 years old. I still carry that with my Rebelcaster guitar in.
That is so cool.
Still to this day.
Yeah. I don't remember.
Now the whole thing is beat up.
Yeah.
The whole case is beat up and it looks rough, but it's got where he wrote his name on it, this, that, and the other. And I keep my signature series Rebelcaster guitar inside of it.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. It fits you.
Yeah.
Though. It does. Can I bring up? I know we're talking this about rock, but there was one back in that day that I thought was the coolest. Well, I don't know if it was a band. It was a band, but it was a lady. You remember Lisa Loeb?
Who?
Lisa Loeb. She had that. Remember, she had the geeky glasses, and she had that song "Stay." You stay, however I want to. That was 1990.
It's not ringing a bell.
Okay, because you were entirely eat up with rock and roll in '94, but she was kind of like the geek.
I was.
It was kind of like geek rock. I won't call it geek rock, but
it was just the same time they came out with that. I will walk 500 miles. I mean, it's got to be somewhere close in that area.
Yeah. Oh,
who was that? The Proclaimers, was that their name?
I don't know. That's the only song I remember they had too.
Well, I can see one.
Yeah, but there was there was also a trio of Bryan Adams, Rod Stewart, and Sting. They got together.
I remember that. They had that song "All for One and All for Love" or something.
And
like
it was
that.
from the Three Musketeers movie. And,
yes, it was.
And that was 1994 as well.
Well, what I was going to say is later in my life, I learned to play piano.
Yeah.
And now I have a huge appreciation for Elton John. I mean, I didn't realize exactly how talented he was.
Well, he was, great piano player, even better songwriter.
But he didn't write his songs, though.
Oh, you did? He wrote the music.
He wrote the music, true. But Bernie, what's this guy's name?
I can't remember. I know it was like the duo thing.
He does the lyric writing.
Yeah.
But some of the most beautiful songs, man. Okay, here's one for you. Best Elton John song ever. What's your pick?
Candle in the Wind.
Beautiful, beautiful song. Great choice. Mine, for some reason now, do you remember when Princess Diana died and he did the little thing for her?
That was Candle in the Wind, but he changed it.
It's Candle in the Wind that he kind of changed around.
Yep.
Okay, you remember how back then when they had a single, they had a B-side?
Yeah.
Okay, the B-side to that was a song called The Way You Look Tonight. And to me, that is his best song, most beautiful song ever. I love that song. I actually do that song sometimes.
Really?
I do. It's so beautiful. And very few people have heard it.
Yeah. Of course, if I play music, we're going to get banned from the internet. But
true.
But anyway, I'm going to... Well, hey,
look that song up, folks.
I will. I sure will.
You got YouTube.
Yeah. Now, let me just say this. If we get a bunch of listeners that want to pay for it, it's $250 a year for podcast licensing of music. And that's from, I can't remember what. One of those companies, $250 a year. And you can have...
Right.
Which would be awesome if we could do that, but we'd have to get some.
Well, we need to start harping on our audience a little bit. Come on, you guys.
That's
right.
Dig
deep now. Come on.
That's exactly right. Because
we're gonna start passing the offering plate around.
I can pass an offering plate around.
Yeah. Hey, we've got a pro that can do this, man.
Yes, I have done that before, and that's true. Yeah. Oh, it's pretty good. But I will say, I mean, I had no idea there's a B-side to that.
It is, and it was called, like I said, The Way You Look Tonight, and the song is so beautiful. And I'll tell you a story. I was on tour back in, 2015, I believe, with that band out of California, and we were off one night, and parked at like an RV park kind of thing, the bus there, and there's a bar, right close. So I walk over to the bar, and they have karaoke, and me and the guys are sitting, there's a bunch of long-haired, hippie-looking guys, that fit in perfect with me.
Yep.
Anyway, they have karaoke. They call my name, and I get up to sing. And, of course, I've got to show up. And I picked that song, The Way You Look Tonight. And I remember jumping off the stage and walking over to this cute little blonde and just kneeling down in front of her and singing this song to her. And she was just, like, in awe. I mean, I'm not going to tell you what happened after that, but you get the point.
It ended up being a man.
No, it didn't.
Okay. That's all I need to know.
We got to know each other well after.
But it wasn't a man.
It wasn't a man.
Okay. That's good.
But she and I got to know each other. So we swapped recipes on some cookies.
I got you. You took cookies home with you.
I did take the cookies home.
A good deal. Yeah. Hey, let me throw something else at you. All right.
Okay.
There was also, I never was a big fan of folk or anything like that, but Sheryl Crowe came out with an album. And that's not really folk, but she came out with an album, and she had that song, All I Want to Do.
Yeah,
and that was,
all I want to do is have some fun.
That was the coolest song.
It was catchy.
Yeah.
And it was infectious because it would get stuck in your head.
Uh-huh.
And, that is the recipe for a hit song, is just have it stick in someone's head.
Yeah.
And she definitely did that.
I mean, it had all kind of neat stuff in it, like watching the bottles of Bud on the floor. I'm like, well, what is that?
Yeah.
But you can't. If you just picture it, you're like, yeah. I've spun bottles around the floor, just
Yeah, I mean, it was. I love Sheryl Crowe myself, personally. Okay, here's a question: what year? Because I'm thinking it's got to be in that era. Was Pantera's first album?
Oh no, nope. Because that Far Beyond Driven came out that year.
That's okay. That may have been what it was.
Yeah.
That was when I was first introduced to Pantera by Michael Key. Do you remember Mike Key?
I remember Michael Key. Yes, I remember Michael Key.
He is the one who turned me on to Pantera, and yes, it was the Far Beyond Driven album.
Mm-hmm. And that's the same Michael Key that introduced me to Suicidal Tendencies. Thank you, Michael Key, if you're listening.
Yes. Actually, I found him on Facebook recently. And we've been talking, and this is the first time I've talked to this guy in probably 20 to 25 years.
Yeah.
And he hasn't changed a bit. He's still crazy as he ever was.
Oh, yeah. I remember he made my girlfriend mad because he was singing lyrics to Suicidal Tendencies.
Oh, wow.
and
Mike was outspoken, and he still is.
Yes. Oh, man, that'd be cool to get back with him. He was pretty, but when you pull up Pantera, it was Cowboys from Hell that brought me to Pantera. And
well, see, I learned about it later.
Yeah. Oh, did you? Okay.
The first song I think I heard by them was the song "I'm Broken."
Yes.
I fell in love with just that. It was infectious.
The fact let me just say this: that if you wanted to win a war, like let's say we went to war with somebody and we were greatly outnumbered and they had more artillery. Give everybody in their tanks Pantera, that Far Beyond Driven, and we will wipe the floor with them. Because
no doubt. Yeah. I mean, for another example, if Rocky would have had that instead of Eye of the Tiger, he would have beat the hell out of that person.
The guy would have been dead. Yeah, he would have been missing a limb. And then Rocky would like stand over him and then like pee on his dead carcass. I mean,
he would.
Yeah. And then it got so intense that some guy had to go shoot the guitarist from it. That was after that was when they started that other band. But that's just,
there's some weird fans out there.
Yeah.
I mean, John Lennon was shot by a fan of his. I mean,
well, if you love somebody, shoot them.
Nothing says love like a bullet.
Yeah. Just. But yeah, I was just
happy Valentine's Day, dear.
I bet that's happened a few times.
I'm sure it has.
But now I went back and actually listened to that Pantera album, and it is. They say it's the most brutal album they had came out with.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I like Reinventing Steel. That was a very good album. But as far as just straight in your face, yeah, I think Far Beyond Driven. That was Vulgar Display of Power also was really good.
Yeah, Vulgar. Yeah, but there's something that happened, and you tell me if I'm kind of weird about this, but is it possible to be too heavy? And I mean, and I don't want to sound like a
in these days and times, probably not.
Well, but back then I had gotten. It was Bobby Cummins and his Ford Accord. He'd got the new Cowboys from Hell, and you remember Bobby Cummins?
I do, from a college student.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because remember, I went down to the dorm, and we partied a lot down at the dorm down there.
Yeah, I hope my mom's not listening.
Mom, we didn't, Mom. We had prayer meetings, what we did.
But good old
Hi, Mom.
Yeah. Love you, Mom. But Bobby Cummins, man, we were. I remember sitting in his back seat. He'd gotten new speakers for the back of his Honda Accord, and we listened to Cowboys to Hell. And I remember he made the statement. He says, I got to listen to it again. I kind of got to let it soak in a little bit. And I thought, what's he talking about? Because I thought it sounded good, but there's something about letting a metal album soak into you.
Yeah, I can kind of relate to that. Yeah.
And it's just where I'm sure it's other music too, but if you got a really heavy metal album and that you just let it like fester in you a little bit, after a while you just let the album play. But I remember Cowboys from Hell, and then going to the next one, I'm like, that's a little too much. I'm like, okay, you had it good. You want to punch people in the face on this one. This one is like, a little past that. I don't know if I feel comfortable with that.
Well, okay. In the same token, then, can you say that can metal be too fast? Because you had a lot of these thrash metal bands like Slayer and a few others that is just off the charts fast.
Now it used to be a competition. You know what I'm saying? There used to be like a competition who could be the fastest drummer and who could be
right.
And generally those albums were like, okay, you can play fast. I got you. But I'm just, there's a little bit of musicality to it. I mean, you gotta.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just playing fast was not going to be it.
I mean, it's kind of like a one-trick pony.
Yeah. What was that we were talking about? That guitarist, that Michelangelo Basio. Yeah. Him and what's the Paratelli?
Yes, Chris. Impellitteri, I think.
Impellitteri, yeah. Now, and he is the prime example of somebody who can play fast. But
I had the opportunity not too long ago to talk, correspond back and forth quite a bit with who was the fastest guitarist in the world in 2010.
Do tell.
Randall Padilla.
Randall Padilla.
And, yes, and I think his record, and it has been broken since then, was 26.5 notes per second.
Wow.
And I asked him, straight up, I said, dude, how do you get to play that fast? And he said, I've just got a lot of time on my hands.
He just sits at home and just picks.
Yeah.
But does he play in a band?
Actually, this is a funny story. He did play in the band that I went on tour with from California. I kind of took his place.
Really? And they were like, Shane, can you speed it up just a little bit?
Yeah, but no, they have never asked me to do that because they didn't like there's places, if you're playing, let's say, just a song off the top of my head, Love Hurts or something. Yeah. You don't want to hear the,
no.
Doing it.
I can't think of any reason why I want to hear that now for any reason. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's great that they can do that, but how much feel have you got? If you want to hear feeling in a guitar solo, listen to Crying by Joe Satriani. I mean, it's just maybe a 5-6 note song, but he put so much emotion into it that it just tears you apart. To me, that's what makes a great guitarist.
Yeah. Yes. and it's one of the things where, well, you remember we were see who could play the fastest. I mean, I don't think I ever won any.
Oh yeah, everybody goes through.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like, and I guess maybe it's just sour grapes anyway, because I can't play fast at all now. So I have to take my time with it.
Well, I'm getting older, and I have to admit mine has slowed down a bit.
Man, well, I would say I looked at your picture. I think you got some gray.
I do. I have some gray now. Believe it or not, and I'll go ahead and admit it just here on the show. There was a time that I did dye it for a while just to try to fight it, but recently I've just said the heck with it. You know, hey, it's natural. It happens. Whatever.
Yeah. Well, you got grown kids, so I mean, they can look at your kids.
I do have grown kids.
Yeah, and you're like, there's no way he's that young, you know. So
right.
you ain't fooling nobody.
Yeah, I gave up the fight.
Yeah, don't worry. I mean, I grew my beard out. I've got 2 big patches of gray. And I'm just like,
they come up so fast.
Yeah, I'm just like, let it go. Just let it go. But yeah, I can't believe you remember Bobby Cummings. I wish he would.
I do.
I wish he'd get in touch with me on Facebook or something. Tell me what's going on.
Yeah, no doubt. We need to give him a shout out. God, who was some more of these guys? The twins that were the twins or whatever. Oh, geez.
Well, Barry and Larry Ford is the twins I was talking about this.
No. There was some down there at the college at the dormitory. Shane and Sean. I can't remember.
Yeah. I think he's a preacher.
Really?
Yeah. Imagine that.
Wow.
But I mean, I hadn't kept up with him. But Morgan, Shane and Sean Morgan.
Yes, that's who it was.
Yeah. And I saw Shane. We actually were working at South Trust Bank together. And I saw him like, hey, and and he straightened up, and it was kind of like
crazy.
Yeah, and it was one of the things like, I've straightened up now. I'm like, I have to.
Oh, Jesus.
But man,
the stories we could tell from those days if we could only remember.
Exactly. Yeah. That is awesome.
Well, all right.
Yeah, well,
it's been a great show, but I'm going to have to get off here because I've got to finish up some editing.
Me too.
For the radio show, and definitely looking forward to next week.
Yeah, we still doing 1994, aren't we?
We are.
Okay.
We've still got a lot of ground to cover with. That was a pretty big year in music.
It was, and we just barely dug into it.
Yeah, just scraped the top of the iceberg.
Well, good deal. Well,
and hopefully we'll have Mr. Jason Spiegel back next week.
Yeah, after he gets his beauty nap in, he can come back. Hey,
that is it.
Hey, tell everybody where they can listen to your music at.
Oh, you can find my music. Basically, just Google Shane Rollo, and you can find out anything you want to know.
Yeah.
That's the simplest way to go about it.
Yeah, you got your YouTube, you got your SoundCloud, you got your...
CD Baby, iTunes, iHeartRadio, anywhere digital music. So Google Play Music.
Hey, Shane Rollo, let me tell you something. You're welcome. I bought your song the other day, so you're $1.
All right.
You're $1 richer.
I appreciate that. Yeah. I do appreciate that.
Yeah, put that thing in the tank, okay?
I will. I'm going to put that in the tank.
Oh, good deal. All right, and y'all can find out. I got preacherbryan.com. Y'all got all kind of stuff on there about what's going on with me. But anyway, awesome. We've enjoyed it, and we will see y'all next week.
Have a great week, guys.